In downtown Chicago, Jack sat hunched over the bar counter, swirling his drink sadly. His job at the factory was at risk because the company was having problems, and this was causing tension in his marriage. As Jack gazed into his glass, the bartender came over with a friendly smile. "You seem like you've had a rough day, buddy. Want to share what's bothering you?" Jack let out a deep sigh before opening up about the looming risk of the company going under and his worries about supporting his family. The bartender listened attentively, gently polishing a glass before offering some comforting words. "I understand, Jack. Trust me, I've had my fair share of tough times," he said with a knowing smile. "But you know what's kept me steady through it all. The age-old wisdom of the Stoic philosophers." Jack's eyebrows raised with intrigue. "Stoics? You mean like those marble-faced fellas with the togas?" The bartender chuckled. "Something like that, except these philosophers had life figured out in a way that's still plenty useful today, especially for a guy in your situation." He set down the polished glass. "They followed 5 core principles that I try to live by myself. Care to hear them? I'll buy you another round while we're at it." As a fresh drink arrived, the bartender started explaining the first Stoic principle. "First rule, worry only about what you can actually influence. I get it. The fate of the company seems like a tidal wave bearing down on you. But you can't single-handedly stop it, can you? What you can manage are your own choices and attitude." Jack nodded reluctantly as the truth of those words began to sink in. "Exactly," the bartender added. "Don't get me wrong. Give it your all to try and steer that ship in the right direction. But don't let fear and worry about things beyond your control pull you down. Keep yourself above water by concentrating on doing your job the best you can every day with a steady hand." Jack felt those words offer a brief pause for his racing thoughts amid the turmoil. "Which leads me to rule 2, the bartender said. "No matter what seas you're sailing through, aim to act with virtue, wisdom, fairness, courage, humility. If you can stay afloat by treating others well, maintaining your integrity, and doing the right thing even when it's hard, you'll have an unshakable hull to get you through any storm." Jack nodded slowly, reflecting on how quickly anger or bitterness could lead him astray if he allowed it to linger. Keeping himself grounded in virtue could help him avoid that shipwreck. The bartender continued, "Rule number 3 is to stop obsessing over the distant future and learn to appreciate the present moment." He snapped his fingers, bringing Jack's focus back to the current moment between them. I get it, the bartender grinned. "It's easier said than done when those clouds of uncertainty are hanging over you and your mind keeps drifting to the what-if scenarios. But listen, there can be peace and even beauty in this very moment if you can fully embrace it instead of being swept away by those what-if thoughts." Jack felt a tinge of guilt for how his persistent worries had drained the joy from precious moments with his wife and family recently. He silently resolved to do better appreciating the simpler pleasures surrounding him right now. Leaning in, the bartender added, "And that leads me to rule 4. Don't cling too tightly to any of the material stuff in this life, because it's all just passing through temporarily anyway. Jobs, money, possessions, they're here for a while, then gone like a tumbleweed blowing away in the wind." He picked up a salt shaker, gave it a quick shake, and then placed it back down. "You see, trying too hard to control things that are always changing is what causes most of our suffering. But if you see your career as something you won't have forever, maybe you'll worry less about losing it." Jack felt his tight hold on his job at the manufacturing company relax a bit as he absorbed this new viewpoint. He realized that his career wouldn't define him forever. The bartender raised one finger. "And lastly, rule number 5 is what really brings the others into focus for me, remembering that you won't be here on this earth forever either." It's a sobering thought, but keeping that awareness of your own mortality can be the motivation you need to start living with more purpose and appreciation for each day you have left. He snapped his fingers sharply. It's like this. If you knew you only had a year left to live, would you spend those precious days worrying about work issues and material things that don't truly matter? Or would you focus on spending more quality time with your loved ones, witnessing more sunsets, and sharing more belly laughs before you're just gone? Jack's eyes widened as that perspective struck him hard. He felt the weight of his worries suddenly seem so small compared to the fragile gift of his own life, slowly slipping away. Jack sat back, giving a slow nod. This Stoic philosophy really puts things into focus, doesn't it? Don't worry, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy a toga. The bartender grinned wryly. He refilled Jack's drink. But those ideas can definitely help shift your perspective when things get rough. They shared a lighthearted laugh, two ordinary guys finding both humor and wisdom in their conversation. As the laughter faded, Jack felt a quiet confidence growing within him about his ability to endure this challenging time. Even though he couldn't control the challenges coming his way, going back to Stoic principles gave Jack a solid foundation to adapt and navigate through tough times. With the calmness, insight, and strength this ancient philosophy offered, Jack felt confident he could now steer a more stable path forward. Stoicism, an age-old philosophy, offers valuable lessons on how to lead a more peaceful and fulfilling life amidst the chaos of modern times. Its fundamental principles serve as a sensible and practical guide for handling the daily stresses and challenges we encounter. Consider all the small frustrations that have the potential to sour your day if you allow them, getting caught in a dreadful traffic jam during your morning drive, facing an unyielding work deadline that disrupts your sleep, unexpected financial issues piling onto your existing worries. In these instances, it's incredibly easy to feel angry, anxious, or completely defeated. This is where Stoic teachings can make a significant difference. The key concept is focusing solely on what you can control while releasing the things beyond your influence. No matter how much you worry, you can't make the traffic jam vanish, erase a missed bill payment, or prevent a difficult person from bothering you again. Stoicism encourages us to release our hold on external factors beyond our control and redirect our energy inward towards our mindset and personal choices. Your response to challenges is entirely within your control. The Stoics emphasize facing obstacles with patience, humility, and courage rooted in your personal values. When chaos erupts, whether at work or home, it's your choice to remain grounded in virtues like honesty and responsibility, or to succumb to impulsive reactions that only worsen the situation. Holding fast to your ethical principles provides a solid foundation for maintaining resilience through any adversity. Making wise choices becomes incredibly challenging if your mind is consumed by dwelling on past regrets or fretting over future worst-case scenarios. Stoics suggest focusing on living fully in the present moment, rather than becoming preoccupied with what might happen. By dedicating yourself to staying present, you conserve energy that would otherwise be spent on hypothetical situations and develop a greater appreciation for the small joys in your current surroundings. Another significant concept in Stoicism involves recognizing that everything external in our lives, jobs, relationships, possessions, and so on, is only temporary. These circumstances will inevitably change, much like the shifting winds, regardless of how strongly we may wish to hold on to them. A significant source of our frustration arises from resisting this impermanence. Stoicism encourages letting go and accepting change as it occurs, reducing struggle while enhancing resilience. Ultimately, Stoics believed that maintaining a deep awareness of our own mortality leads to the healthiest mindset. While it may seem somewhat grim, regularly contemplating our finite lifespan offers valuable insight into what truly holds importance. It inspires us to not dwell on trivial annoyances or superficial pursuits, but rather to seize the most out of our limited time. It urges us to cherish relationships, personal development, and life's basic pleasures before our time runs out. In the face of life's relentless chaos and stress, Stoic philosophy serves as a beacon of enduring guidance. It offers a logical framework for soothing our minds, navigating external forces beyond our control, upholding ethical standards, and ensuring that every passing moment is meaningful. Instead of constantly being thrown off course by both minor irritations and major setbacks, Stoicism encourages us to pause, refocus, and embrace the journey with more satisfaction and resilience. What aspect of Stoic philosophy resonates most with you? Focusing on what you can control, practicing virtue, living in the present, or accepting impermanence? Please share your thoughts in the comments.